Welcome to the Sissy Training Institute, a fictional academy devoted to feminine refinement, etiquette, and posture. Our stories are works of fiction, created to inspire confidence, grace, and self-expression. But every lesson shared here, from behavioral training to beauty routines, is real and empowering. Viewer discretion is advised. When Mistress first brought me to Devereaux Manor, I never imagined I would one day stand inside a wardrobe room like this. A room bigger than some entire apartments, lined wall to wall with shimmering fabrics, satin bows, polished hangers, and dresses so beautiful I almost don't feel worthy of touching them. The wardrobe is kept immaculate, of course. Every dress is spaced evenly on its hanger. Every ribbon has its own tiny drawer. The shoes are arranged by season, the aprons by level of formality, the petticoats by volume. Even the air feels soft and scented, like rosewater and fresh linen. Mistress says a maid must learn not just duties, but presentation. And each dress here teaches me something different. How to move, how to stand, how to feel, how to serve. A crisp black uniform reminds me to be precise. A flowing pastel dress makes me gentle. A tea gown makes me deliberate and elegant. A simple pinafore teaches humility. A ball gown teaches poise. When I wear each dress, I feel like I'm learning a new language. Today, Mistress has allowed me to show you 25 of my favorites. Some are playful, some formal, some reserved, some breathtaking, and some so frilly I can almost feel myself blushing when I wear them. But each one has shaped me into who I am becoming, a maid who serves not only with her hands, but with her heart, posture, and presence. Before we begin, Mistress always reminds me, a maid must honor the dress she wears. So as I take you through this wardrobe, I'll tell you not just what each dress looks like, but what it means to me, and what lesson it gave me. Now, shall we begin? If there is one dress that feels like me, it's this one, the classic pink frilly maid uniform. It was the very first dress Mistress ever placed on me at Devereaux Manor, and every time I step into it, I feel a mixture of nostalgia, pride, and a tiny flutter of nerves. The satin is soft and lightweight, but the structure of the bodice pulls my posture upright. The puffed sleeves remind me to keep my shoulders relaxed and open. The crisp white apron frames the skirt like a picture, and the lace trim gives the whole dress a sweetness that makes even simple tasks feel elegant. Mistress calls this my everyday dress, the uniform of discipline and consistency. When I wear it, I know exactly who I'm meant to be, tidy, graceful, diligent, and conscious of every motion. This dress doesn't let me hide. It shows everything, my posture, my movements, my focus. It's girly, unmistakable, and iconic. And that's why it will always be the first dress in my wardrobe. Out of all the uniforms I own, this one feels the most serious. The black and white traditional maid dress. Mistress reserves it for days when the manor must be immaculate, or when guests of particularly high status are expected. Everything about this dress insists on precision. The black satin bodice fits more tightly than my pink dress, reminding me to stand tall and keep my movements neat. The white apron is crisp and sharply cut, with straight edges instead of soft frills. Even the sleeves are narrower, guiding my arms to stay close to my sides, refined and controlled. When I wear this dress, I feel older, not in age, but in responsibility. I become the version of myself who can handle formal service without hesitation. No twirling, no bouncy steps, no nervous fluttering, just quiet professionalism wrapped in black satin and clean white trim. Mistress once told me, every maid must have a uniform that teaches discipline. For me, this is that uniform. This pastel yellow party dress is one of the happiest pieces in my wardrobe. Whenever Mistress asks me to wear it, I know the day will be light-hearted, cheerful, and filled with little moments of sweetness. The color alone feels like sunshine, soft, warm, and endlessly optimistic. The skirt is full and airy, lined with a layer of tulle that gives it a gentle bounce when I walk. The bodice is simple but flattering, with scalloped edges that frame my shoulders in a delicate curve. There are no aprons or strict lines here, just soft shapes and soft energy. Mistress says this dress is for celebration service, helping prepare small gatherings, birthdays, or pleasant afternoons where laughter is more important than formality. In this dress, I feel lighter on my feet, almost as if I'm allowed to glow a little brighter. It's not a working dress, it's a dress for joy, and wearing it always reminds me that being a maid isn't only about discipline. It's also about bringing beauty into every room I enter. This dress always makes me feel like I've stepped out of a pastel bakery window. Mistress calls it my cupcake Lolita dress, and the name suits it perfectly. The skirt is layered with soft, fluffy petticoats that give it a sweet, rounded shape, airy but elegant, never childish. The bodice is decorated with delicate lace panels and tiny ribbon bows, each one placed with absolute precision. The colors are a dream, soft pinks, creams, and hints of strawberry icing blush. When I wear it, I feel like I'm wrapped in sweetness, but still expected to behave with grace and composure. Mistress often chooses this dress for cheerful days or for small institute events where everyone is encouraged to look their prettiest. What I love most is how the dress moves. The ruffles ripple gently as I walk, following every step like petals brushing against my legs. And although it looks playful, it teaches control. Too fast, and the skirt sways. Too stiff, and the silhouette loses its charm. This dress reminds me that beauty can be soft, but it still has rules, and that sometimes the sweetest outfits ask for the most careful movements. This dress always changes the atmosphere the moment I put it on. Mistress calls it my gothic Lolita Maid dress, and it's unlike anything else in my wardrobe. The deep black satin contrasts beautifully with the rich plum or violet accents, creating a silhouette that feels both dramatic and refined. The bodice is structured and slightly tighter than my sweeter dresses, encouraging a straighter posture and slower, more deliberate movements. The skirt is layered with lace panels, darker lace, softer lace, patterns that catch the light in quiet ways. The sleeves are slightly puffed but more mature in shape, giving the entire dress a graceful severity. When Mistress wants me to move with absolute precision, she chooses this dress. There's something about the darker palette that makes me feel more aware of each gesture, each step, each breath. Even the frills feel more serious, like they're part of a performance instead of a decoration. Wearing it makes me feel elegant, but powerful too in a quiet way. It's a dress that demands poise, and I love the way it transforms my presence. This dress feels like stepping back in time. Mistress calls it my Victorian afternoon tea dress, and every detail is designed to make me move with quiet, old-fashioned grace. The fabric is a soft pastel, usually a dusty rose or pale blue, with a high collar that sits neatly around my neck, reminding me to keep my posture long and refined. The sleeves are gently puffed at the shoulders before tapering into fitted cuffs at the wrists. The bodice has delicate vertical seams that create a structured, elegant shape, and the skirt falls in smooth, graceful panels that sway softly when I walk. There's no apron with this dress. Instead, its beauty stands alone, simple and dignified. Mistress only selects this dress for the most refined serving occasions, formal teas, delicate conversations, quiet intellectual gatherings. When I wear it, I feel serene. My steps become slower, my voice softer, my gestures more intentional. It's a dress that teaches serenity and subtlety, a different kind of service. It's one of my most elegant pieces, and one of the ones that makes me feel closest to Mistress's world. Oh, this one still makes my breath catch every single time I touch it. Mistress calls it my princess ball gown, but secretly I think she knows exactly what it does to me. The bodice shimmers with soft, pearlescent fabric, fitted just tightly enough to make me stand tall and graceful. Tiny embroidered flowers trace along the neckline, and the sleeves are delicate, sheer puffs that make me feel like I've stepped out of a fairy tale. But the skirt is everything. Layers upon layers of floating, glistening tulle that sweep outwards in a perfect bell shape. When I move, it follows me like a cloud of light. Mistress only lets me wear this dress during institute ceremonies or presentations, moments where I'm expected to embody poise, elegance, and absolute devotion. When I curtsy in this gown, I don't feel like Lily the maid. I feel like Lily the princess. Just for a moment before remembering who I serve and why I'm dressed so beautifully. This dress always feels like the calmest corner of my wardrobe. It's my softest, sweetest little pinafore outfit. The base is a delicate ivory blouse stitched from lightweight cotton voile, with tiny pearl buttons running down the front, and a rounded lace collar that sits perfectly against my neck. The sleeves puff gently before tapering into ruffled cuffs, making every small movement look a little more graceful. The pinafore itself is a dusty rose shade with a subtle woven floral pattern that you only notice when the light hits it. The bodice is shaped with decorative seams and finished with 2 satin bows at the waist. The skirt falls in soft pleats, fluttering with the faintest layer of lace peeking from underneath. Mistress prefers me in this outfit on quiet afternoons when I'm writing letters, polishing silver, or reading over the household schedules. It's gentle, studious, and perfectly modest, and it always makes me feel like a well-kept little maid in her own peaceful world. This dress always makes me feel neat, tidy, and just a little bit playful. It's my traditional sailor collar dress, one of Mistress Devereaux's favorites for outdoor errands or walks down by the river. The bodice is a deep navy cotton with a subtle twill texture, structured enough to hold its shape but still soft when I move. The sailor collar is bright, crisp white with double navy ribbon stripes stitched perfectly along the edges. Down the front, 3 glossy pearl buttons catch the light, each sewn on with tiny navy threads. The sleeves puff just slightly before ending in matching white cuffs, trimmed with a delicate ribbon stripe. The skirt is pleated all the way around, swishing in a tidy arc when I turn. Underneath, a whisper of white lace peeks from the hem, a small feminine touch Mistress insisted on adding. Whenever I wear this dress, she expects me to walk with confidence and purpose, shoulders back, posture perfect, a maid who can be trusted to represent the manor beyond its doors. This dress always makes the whole manor feel brighter the moment I put it on. Mistress calls it my candy stripe housemaid dress. It's meant for cheerful morning chores, polishing banisters, dusting the library, opening the curtains to let the sun in. The fabric is a soft pastel pink cotton patterned with delicate white vertical stripes, each stripe bordered by the tiniest dotted embroidery. The bodice has a sweetheart seam that lifts the shape ever so gently, with a big satin bow placed right in the center like a little reward. The sleeves puff lightly, trimmed with double ruffles that bounce while I work. The apron is smaller than my usual ones, just a rounded white panel with lace edging, because Mistress says this dress is more about keeping spirits high than looking formal. The skirt twirls out in neat, airy layers, the bottom hem finished with scalloped lace that looks almost sugary. Whenever I wear it, I feel like the manor's little ray of sunshine, and Mistress seems to enjoy how quickly I move when I'm dressed so sweetly. This dress is one of the lightest things I've ever worn. Mistress calls it my ballet-inspired tutu dress, and she uses it for posture lessons, those long afternoons where I have to glide, balance, and move as gracefully as she expects a maid of Devereaux Manor to. The bodice is a pale blush satin, stitched with vertical panels that pull me into perfect alignment. Tiny crystal beads are embroidered along the seams, catching little glimmers of light when I turn. The neckline is soft and rounded, edged with a whisper of lace that barely brushes my skin. The skirt is the real magic. Layers and layers of fine tulle, each one slightly shorter than the last, forming a delicate tutu that sways with the smallest breath. The top layer has scattered floral appliques, like petals resting on the fabric. When I wear this dress, Mistress always watches me closely. Every step, every tilt of my chin, every movement of my hands. She says the dress teaches control, not just of my body but of my presence, and somehow, it always does. This dress always makes me feel a little bit bouncier than usual. Mistress calls it my cheerleader dress, and she only brings it out on days when she wants the manor filled with energy. It's not like the modern outfits you see on television. This one is softer, sweeter, and much more modest, but it still has that spirited look she enjoys. The bodice is a gentle cream color with structured seams that keep everything neat. Across the chest and waist, 2 diagonal ribbons in warm cherry red form a classic cheer stripe, bordered with tiny stitched scallops for extra charm. The neckline dips lightly into a soft V shape, trimmed with lace to keep it feminine. The skirt is pleated all the way around, made from matching cherry red fabric with a subtle woven star pattern you only notice when the light moves. Each pleat is edged with a crisp cream stripe, giving the dress just enough movement and bounce. Mistress says this dress wakes up the manor, and she's right. Whenever I wear it, she expects quick steps, tidy enthusiasm, and a bright, cheerful smile that lasts through the whole day. This dress makes me feel like a student from a perfectly kept old-fashioned academy. Not the institute, of course, just the sort of elegant, traditional college Mistress Devereaux admires. She calls it my retro college pleated dress, and she chooses it for days when I'm doing desk work, copying letters, organizing inventories, or studying the household accounts under her supervision. The bodice is a smooth, dusty plum fabric with a gently fitted shape and a classic pointed collar in crisp white. A narrow ribbon tie sits neatly at the throat, fastened with a little pearl button. The seams are piped with matching white cord, so the lines look extra clean and proper. The skirt is my favorite part. A beautifully tailored set of deep pleats that fall perfectly straight, almost like something from a vintage school uniform catalog. When I move, the pleats sway in quiet, disciplined lines. There's even a faint woven check pattern in the fabric, subtle but refined. Mistress says this dress sharpens the mind. And honestly, when I put it on, I do sit a little straighter. This is one of the dresses I wear when Mistress wants me outside in the gardens. She calls it my floral summer sundress, and it always feels like the manor brightens just a little when I step into the sunlight in it. The fabric is a soft, breathable cotton scattered with tiny painted flowers, pale pinks, soft blues, little hints of yellow, all arranged like a meadow captured on cloth. The bodice has a gentle, sweetheart shape, framed by short puff sleeves with ruffled lace edges. Vertical seams run down the front, each trimmed with a delicate scalloped stitch so the whole dress feels lovingly handmade. The skirt falls in a light A-line swish, not too full, not too tight, perfect for moving between rose bushes or carrying baskets of fresh herbs to the kitchen. A small embroidered cluster of flowers sits just above the hem, like a final little signature. When I wear this dress, Mistress expects me to be calm, peaceful, and attentive, to match the quiet beauty of the gardens themselves. And somehow, I always do. This is my warmest dress. Mistress calls it my winter velvet dress, and she chooses it whenever the manor feels a little colder or when she wants the evening to feel luxurious. The moment I slip it over my head, the weight of the velvet makes me stand a little straighter. The fabric is a deep wine red velvet, rich and soft with a natural sheen that glows under candlelight. The bodice is shaped with elegant darts and framed by a high waist seam, embroidered with tiny silver thread vines, subtle but sparkling when I turn. The sleeves are long and gently puffed at the shoulders, tapering into fitted cuffs trimmed with soft lace. The skirt is fuller than most of my other dresses, falling in heavy, graceful folds that sway slowly instead of bouncing. Near the hem, a row of embroidered winter blossoms wraps around the dress in muted silvers and dusty pinks. Mistress says this dress is for evenings of quiet service, tending the fire, pouring tea, keeping the rooms warm and dignified. And when I wear it, I always feel like the whole manor expects me to move with calm, slow elegance. This dress always makes me feel very proper. Almost like Mistress can see every tiny mistake before I make it. She calls it my high-neck lace collar dress, the one I'm expected to wear during lessons, evaluations, or any moment requiring perfect focus. The bodice is made from a dusky mauve fabric with a soft matte finish, shaped with long princess seams that keep my posture tall. The neckline rises into a delicate Victorian-style collar, made entirely from intricate white lace that sits snugly against my throat without ever feeling tight. Small pearl buttons trail down the front, each one sewn with tiny loops of thread, so the closure looks as neat as the collar itself. The sleeves are fitted, but end in gentle lace cuffs that mirror the collar's pattern. The skirt falls smoothly in a modest A-line, with a subtle brocade pattern woven into the fabric, just visible when the light hits it at an angle. Near the hem, a thin band of embroidered lace adds a final touch of refinement. When I wear this dress, Mistress expects absolute composure, quiet hands, tidy steps, and a mind fully alert. It's impossible to feel anything but disciplined while wearing it. This dress always makes me feel a bit more capable. Mistress calls it my apron skater dress, and she gives it to me on days when the household is busy and the kitchen needs an extra pair of steady hands. It's practical, but still very pretty. She would never allow me to wear anything plain. The dress itself is a soft dusty blue with a smooth, flowing skater skirt that swirls easily when I move. The bodice is shaped with curved seams and a gently rounded neckline edged with embroidered white blossoms. Attached at the waist is a built-in apron, not a separate piece, made from crisp white cotton with scalloped edges and a tiny blue floral embroidery stitched across the top. The sleeves are short and slightly puffed, finished with a matching blue ribbon trim. The skirt has a delicate white hemline band that makes it feel more polished, even though it's meant for work. Mistress says the dress is for cheerful productivity, and I can see why. Whenever I'm wearing it, I feel lighter, quicker, and somehow tidier, as though the dress itself helps guide my hands and keep the manor running smoothly. This dress always makes me feel as though I've stepped into a storybook. Mistress calls it my cottage dirndl-inspired dress, and she chooses it for days when I'm arranging flowers, collecting herbs, or helping in the orchard behind the manor. It has a gentle, rustic charm, simple in spirit, but still beautifully detailed, just as she likes. The bodice is a soft, dusty rose shade with subtle floral jacquard woven through the fabric. A row of tiny silver eyelets runs down the front, laced with a cream satin ribbon that pulls the bodice into the sweetest shape without feeling tight. Beneath it sits a delicate blouse, ivory cotton with short puff sleeves, trimmed with lace and tiny embroidered vines. The skirt is a warm, muted cream with a faint crosshatch weave, falling in natural gathers that sway when I walk. Near the hem, a border of small stitched flowers creates a soft, homespun feel. The whole dress feels light, breathable, and perfect for a warm countryside day. Whenever I wear it, Mistress tells me I look properly pastoral, and for once, I think she means it kindly. This dress feels different from all the others, quieter, more graceful. Mistress calls it my cheapao-inspired elegant dress, and she chooses it for evenings where the manor hosts more formal or culturally themed gatherings. It isn't a full traditional cheapao, but a softened, modest version made to suit the house's refined atmosphere. The bodice is shaped in a gentle, fitted line, crafted from soft pearl blue satin embroidered with delicate silver plum blossoms that trail diagonally across the front. The neckline rises into a small mandarin-style collar edged with pale lace so it feels softer and more feminine. Two little fabric knot buttons sit at the collarbone as a decorative nod to tradition. The skirt flows out slightly from the waist, not tight, but a graceful A-line that brushes just below my knees. Along one side runs a subtle slit, modest and lined with embroidered trim so it moves gently when I walk instead of opening too far. Mistress says this dress teaches me quiet honor, the ability to move slowly, purposefully, and respectfully. And every time I wear it, I feel that calm settle into me. This is one of my most formal uniforms. Mistress calls it my evening reception maid dress, and she brings it out only when the manor hosts distinguished guests. The moment I put it on, everything feels more serious, my posture, my voice, even the way I breathe. The dress is made from deep onyx satin with a soft sheen that catches candlelight beautifully. The bodice is fitted and shaped with elegant seams that draw the eye upward to a crisp white collar embroidered with tiny silver thread leaves. The sleeves are short but slightly puffed, finishing in neat white cuffs with delicate lace trim. The apron is longer and more formal than my usual ones, a smooth white satin with a scalloped hem and a subtle embroidered crest at the waist. Mistress says it represents the dignity of the manor, so I must keep it spotless at all times. The skirt falls in graceful folds, heavier than my day dresses, with a soft shimmer woven into the fabric. Along the bottom edge, an embroidered border of silver scrollwork adds quiet opulence without ever looking showy. When I wear this dress, I feel like the entire manor is watching, and that it's my job to ensure the night runs flawlessly. This dress always feels like it was made for sunny afternoons. Mistress calls it my garden party dress, and she chooses it for outdoor teas on the lawn, or whenever the manor hosts gentle gatherings beneath the gazebo. It's airy, pastel, and so pretty that I always blush a little when I see myself in it. The fabric is a soft petal pink with a subtle dotted jacquard that shimmers faintly in daylight. The bodice is shaped with delicate curved seams and trimmed along the neckline with tiny embroidered blossoms. The sleeves are short and puffed, finished with double ruffled hems that sway with even the smallest movement. The skirt is light and full, floating around me with every step. Along the bottom edge, a scalloped embroidered border in white thread forms little arcs of flowers and leaves. At the back, a wide satin sash ties into an oversized bow, Mistress's favorite detail, which always makes the dress feel especially festive. Whenever I wear this one, she expects me to carry myself with sweetness and grace, like a quiet little ornament at the center of the garden. This dress always makes me feel responsible. Mistress calls it my travel and errand dress, and she chooses it for days when I'm sent into town to collect parcels, deliver letters, or pick up special requests from the shops. It's simpler than my fancy dresses, but still elegant enough that anyone who sees me knows I belong to the Devereaux household. The fabric is a soft dusty rose with a subtle herringbone weave that gives it a refined, tailored look. The bodice has a gentle square neckline framed with a narrow embroidered border, and the seams are stitched with delicate top stitching in a slightly lighter shade. The sleeves are short and softly gathered, finished with tiny buttoned cuffs. The skirt is less full than my usual ones, a graceful A-line that keeps its shape even when the wind picks up outside. Near the hem, a row of embroidered leaf motifs runs neatly around the dress, giving it just enough ornamentation to feel special without being impractical. Mistress says this dress is about presentation. Even on errands, I should look polished, calm, and unmistakably part of her household, and every time I wear it, I do my best to make her proud. This dress always makes Mistress smile, probably because it looks like it came straight from a pretty little confectionery window. She calls it my candy shop-themed dress, and she chooses it for special reward days or cheerful household events. It's sweet, detailed, and impossible not to feel happy in. The fabric is a soft pastel stripe pattern, pink, mint, cream, and baby blue, running vertically in alternating widths, so the whole dress looks light and lively. The bodice has a rounded neckline trimmed with tiny looped lace, and down the front are 3 decorative pastel buttons shaped like little sugar pearls. The seams are piped with a soft white cord that gives the dress a neat, polished look. The sleeves are gently puffed with ruffled edges, each one accented by a small satin bow matching one of the stripes. The skirt is full and bouncy, with a scalloped hem embroidered in swirling candy-like motifs. When I move, the colors seem to dance. Mistress says this dress is meant to lift spirits in the manor, and wearing it, I can definitely see why. This is the most precious dress in my entire wardrobe. Mistress calls it the ceremony dress of the manor, and I'm only allowed to wear it during the most important household occasions. Anniversaries, formal gatherings, or when guests of the highest standing arrive. Every time I lift it from its hanger, I feel a flutter in my chest. The fabric is a soft ivory satin with a gentle pearlescent glow, embroidered all over with delicate gold filigree patterns, tiny leaves, curved motifs, and little blossoms stitched so finely they look like they were painted on. The bodice tapers smoothly at the waist, with a scalloped neckline edged in lace so thin it feels like morning frost on the skin. The sleeves are short and puffed, but trimmed with gold thread lace cuffs that shimmer when I move. The skirt is full and floating, layered with sheer organza that sparkles faintly as it catches the light. Along the hem, an elaborate embroidered border wraps around the entire dress, almost like a ceremonial crest. Mistress says that when I wear this dress, I represent the dignity, grace, and beauty of the entire Devereaux household. And somehow, I always feel just a little bit transformed. This dress feels like a little secret I carry close to my heart. Mistress calls it my special keepsake dress, but privately I think of it as my secret favorite. It combines everything I love: softness, elegance, sweetness, and just a touch of sparkle. I don't wear it often, only when Mistress feels I've truly earned it. The fabric is a soft rose petal pink satin, overlaid with sheer organza embroidered in swirling silver vines and tiny beadwork that catches the light like dew. The bodice is shaped like a princess gown, with a gently curved neckline, trimmed in lace and two delicate satin bows placed symmetrically at the front. The seams are piped in white, giving everything a perfectly finished look. The sleeves are short and puffed but layered, a satin base with an organza outer puff that glitters faintly when I move. The skirt is full and dreamy, made of 3 airy layers: satin, organza, and a scalloped lace hem. Each layer is embroidered with soft floral motifs, becoming more intricate toward the bottom. Mistress says this dress represents who I've become in her household: dedicated, gentle, and beautifully obedient. And every time I wear it, I feel like I'm exactly where I belong. Thank you, truly all, for spending this time with me. It feels strange standing here with the wardrobe finally quiet behind me. I've never shown all of my dresses at once before. Mistress always said that each one should be understood on its own, its purpose, its mood, its meaning. But today she allowed me to share everything, and I feel grateful. When I close these doors at night, I don't just see colors and fabrics. I see moments, lessons, feelings, the soft pink maid dress that reminds me of my first day of service, the winter velvet gown that taught me how to move slowly, gracefully, the dirndl dress that made me feel gentle and grounded, the ceremony dress that still makes my heart flutter when I touch it, and my secret favorite, the one that feels like a reflection of all the ways I've grown. Every fold of fabric here holds a memory. Some are comforting, some were difficult, but all of them shaped me into the maid Mistress expects me to be. Each dress teaches something different: sweetness, discipline, humility, cheerfulness, elegance, responsibility, devotion. And when I look at them all together like this, I realize something. I'm proud of the girl I've become in this manner. Mistress always tells me that clothing is a language, that a maid should speak through the way she presents herself long before she opens her mouth. Now, after walking through all 25 dresses, I understand that more deeply than ever. These aren't just outfits, they're a story, my story. Thank you for letting me share it with you. Now, I'll close the wardrobe for today. Lily gently folds her hands, offering a shy smile. But I hope you'll visit again soon. There are still so many parts of my life here at Devereaux Manor I would love to show you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more beautiful stories and new videos every week.